You've reached the section for a disclaimer about babysitting, and there are some nuances and complexities to this concept. And so, in addition to giving you some straight policy and visual information, wanted to give you a little bit of an interpretation and sort of the more nuanced part. So, um, the official HR stance on students or staff who work at the ELC babysitting for families enrolled at the ELC is that it's a no, hard no. It's a conflict of interest. You know, anytime anyone works at the Early Learning Center, they have access to confidential information about children and families. And so, and we know that the students in particular are just still developing judgment naturally, developmentally. They are learning to be professionals, but judgment is tricky. And so, the vast majority of the time, when a family does pursue a student in our program as a babysitter, it is a wonderfully supportive arrangement, supportive for the child, supportive for the family, supportive for the student who's still learning about working with children and families in context. Every long once in a while, if it goes poorly, it could go very, very poorly. If a student were to develop a stronger allegiance or loyalty to one family than to the ELC community, the classroom, the children, and professional ethics more broadly, they could make the mistake of divulging information about, you know, another child's diagnosed disability or another family's divorce or a teacher's personal life challenges. And that would be awful. And terribly inappropriate and unprofessional, but also a reasonable thing that might happen, especially when teachers in training are still developing judgment. So, there's the HR stance, which is that it's a no-go no matter what, not appropriate. Then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is that we know that to families, especially our students, appear to be very appealing babysitters, given that they know your child and also are in the process of being trained by us and are learning to be teachers. And so they seem like really appealing babysitters. We need to ask you to use a high level of judgment and discretion here. We need to make clear the boundaries, which are that a student or staff member could never babysit on site, that it has to be an independent arrangement, that we can't recommend a student to you or help connect a family with a student, that we can't serve that role for you. And we need to ask you to be cautious and careful in your judgment. You know, worst case scenario is you go in day one, identifying any person as a good potential babysitter, and best case scenario is that you either find babysitters from outside of our program or take a while to get to know people and then perhaps pursue a student teacher who has finished the student teaching placement and is now not working at the ELC and could babysit for you, to pursue options like that.